What if one quiet seating arrangement was never meant to be quiet at all? On a night designed to celebrate power, prestige, and polished perfection, two chairs placed side by side ignited a storm that no spotlight could contain. Weibo Night has always been a battlefield of influence, a carefully choreographed ceremony where every smile is rehearsed and every appearance is strategic. Yet this year, something slipped through the cracks. Wang and Zhao Lusi sitting together. No announcement. No explanation. Just a moment that felt far too intentional to be accidental. And in the world of Chinese entertainment, nothing is ever just a coincidence. Weibo Night is not merely an awards event. It is a declaration, a showcase of who matters now and who is about to matter next. Seating arrangements are scrutinized as closely as red carpet outfits because proximity speaks louder than press releases. Who sits near whom tells a story of alliances, rising influence, and sometimes carefully hidden narratives. So when Wang took his seat and Zhao Lusi appeared beside him, the atmosphere subtly shifted. There was no dramatic entrance, no whispered exchange caught on microphone. Instead, there was something far more powerful. Stillness. Comfort. A shared presence that immediately drew the cameras closer, as if the lenses themselves sensed that this was not an ordinary pairing. Wang, the magnetic force who rose from Meteor Garden to global recognition, has always carried an aura of controlled unpredictability. His public persona is polished yet reserved, confident yet guarded. Zhao Lusi, on the other hand, embodies warmth and accessibility, a star whose smile feels genuine even under relentless scrutiny. Individually, they command attention. Together, they created a tension that felt cinematic. Audience members noticed it first. The way they sat. Not stiff, not distant. Relaxed. Natural. The kind of body language that suggests familiarity rather than formality. No exaggerated gestures, no performative interactions. Just two stars existing comfortably in the same frame, as if they had done so many times before. Social media erupted within minutes. Screenshots flooded timelines. Slow-motion clips analyzed every glance, every shift, every moment of shared laughter. Fans asked the same question in 100 different ways. Why them, why now, and why together? The official narrative remained silent, which only deepened the intrigue. Because silence, in an industry built on noise, is rarely empty. Speculation surged, not reckless but curious. Some pointed to potential collaborations, whispering about future projects not yet announced. Others suggested brand alignment, a calculated move to place two of the most influential young stars in one visual moment. But then there were those who noticed the subtleties. The unspoken ease. The absence of awkwardness that often accompanies forced pairings. This did not look forced. It looked familiar. Throughout the night, cameras returned to them again and again, as if editors sensed the pulse of the audience. When applause filled the hall, they clapped in sync. When speeches grew long, they leaned back with the same quiet patience. These are small details, easily dismissed. Yet in a room where everything is curated, small details are never small. Weibo Night has a history of quietly foreshadowing shifts in the industry. Past pairings that once seemed incidental later revealed collaborations, partnerships, and in rare cases, relationships that redefined public perception. Fans know this. Insiders know this. Which is why the image of Wang and Zhao Lusi seated together refuses to fade. What made the moment even more compelling was what did not happen. There was no attempt to capitalize on it immediately. No joint interviews. No playful fan service. No official photos highlighting the pairing. The moment was allowed to exist on its own, raw and unclaimed, leaving audiences to fill the silence with imagination. And imagination is powerful. Some fans described the moment as electric. Others called it dangerous, not because of scandal, but because of potential. Two stars at the peak of their influence sharing a single frame can rewrite expectations. It invites stories that have not yet been told. As the night progressed and awards were handed out, the question lingered like a low hum beneath the applause. Was this simply seeding logistics, or was it a quiet message delivered without words? In an industry where timing is everything, the timing was impeccable. Wang and Zhao Lusi both stand at critical points in their careers, transitioning from beloved leads to long-term power players. Placing them together at one of the most watched nights of the year feels less like chance and more like choreography. Yet the beauty of the moment lies in its ambiguity. No confirmations were given. No denials issued. Just an image, frozen in time, now replayed endlessly across screens and minds. And perhaps that is the most cinematic choice of all. To let the audience wonder. To let speculation breathe. To allow a single seating arrangement to carry the weight of possibility. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are not announced. They are simply shown. And long after Weibo Night ended, after the lights dimmed and the stars returned to their separate paths, one question continues to echo through the fandom. If this was nothing, why did it feel like everything was watching? And as the echoes of that question lingered, a deeper narrative began to take shape. Because in the days following Weibo Night, the silence did not fade. It intensified. Neither Wang nor Zhao Lusi addressed the moment directly. No casual clarification. No dismissive laughter in interviews. No subtle distancing in subsequent appearances. In an industry where rumors are often smothered within hours, the absence of response became its own statement. A quiet one, but impossibly loud. Industry observers began to look backward before looking ahead. They revisited past interviews, award shows, fleeting overlaps at brand events, moments that once seemed insignificant now re-examined under a sharper lens. Had their paths crossed before, was there a history the public had simply overlooked? The more fans searched, the more they realized how rarely these two stars had been placed in direct comparison, let alone proximity, which made Weibo Night stand out even more. This was not familiarity born from constant interaction. This was something else. Something that felt chosen. Within the venue, witnesses later described an atmosphere that cameras could not fully capture. A sense that the seating arrangement subtly altered the energy of the room. Conversations shifted. Eyes lingered. Even other celebrities seemed momentarily aware that something quietly compelling was unfolding just a few rows away. Not dramatic enough to disrupt the event. Just dramatic enough to be remembered. What makes moments like this powerful is not what is confirmed, but what is possible. Wang represents a modern archetype in Chinese entertainment, the breakout star who defied expectations and continues to evolve beyond his origin story. Zhao Lusi represents another force entirely, the actress whose relatability and emotional range have made her a generational presence. Together, they symbolize momentum. And momentum is dangerous. Because momentum invites speculation about futures not yet written. A collaboration that could dominate screens. A pairing that could shift audience dynamics. Or perhaps something even more private, more human, existing quietly behind the spectacle. Fans did not just react. They projected. Edits appeared overnight, blending their past works into imagined futures. Voiceovers layered with longing. Scenes that never happened stitched together so convincingly they felt inevitable. This is the power of unresolved imagery. It allows the audience to become the storyteller. Meanwhile, official Weibo accounts posted highlight reels of the night, carefully edited. Yet no matter how wide the lens, viewers kept finding their way back to that single moment. Two figures seated side by side. Two careers aligned in one frame. It became clear that the question was no longer about why they sat together. The question was why that image resonated so deeply. Perhaps because it felt unguarded. Not overly staged. Not loudly marketed. In an era of constant promotion, authenticity has become rare. And whether real or perceived, that moment carried the illusion of something unscripted. A pause in the performance. As days turned into a week, the conversation did not die down. It matured. Speculation softened into curiosity. Curiosity into anticipation. People began to ask not what happened, but what might happen next. Because Weibo Night has a way of planting seeds. Not every seed grows. but the ones that do often reshape the landscape. And somewhere between applause and silence, between camera flashes and unspoken glances, Wang and Zhao Lusi became part of a narrative larger than themselves. A narrative fueled not by confirmation, but by connection. Not by statements, but by presence. In the end, perhaps that is the true story of Weibo Night. Not the awards, not the speeches, not even the headlines, but the moments that slip through untouched. The ones no one explains. The ones that linger precisely because they are unfinished. Because sometimes, the most unforgettable chapters begin without a single word spoken. They begin with two chairs, placed side by side, and a room that suddenly felt like it was holding its breath.